What's up guys, my name is Ace, and today we're going to be taking a look at my top 3 choices as well as class setups for sniper support in Warzone currently. I decided to do this after a bunch of requests in the last Warzone video that I made, covering my general top assault rifles in the game. So let's dive into this, and we're going to start it off with my criteria. What am I looking for sniper support? Well, the first thing is it's really got to be a gun that's solid out to 40 to 50 meters or so. Beyond that, that's where you can pull out the sniper rifle and that can really start to shine. But within 40 to 50 meters, it's really got to excel. And this means it has to have a damage range, velocity value, and recoil that's going to be suitable for those ranges. And as a result, I'm just focusing on assault rifles here. I don't like SMGs for sniper support, primarily because they tend to be really good out to like maybe 25 meters or so. And that just leaves that awkward gap between about 25 meters to 50 meters, where it's probably not ideal to be using a sniper rifle and also probably not ideal to be using an SMG. So for SMGs, I would tend to pair that more with like a long-range assault rifle or marksman rifle instead of using it as sniper support. Additionally, I tried focusing on guns where they'd be good with just 5 attachments. Because as a sniper supports, I'm primarily gearing this toward an overkill loadout where you've got a sniper as your secondary. Now obviously you could go the 2 loadout options where you get your first loadout with an 8 attachment assault rifle and second loadout with an 8 attachment sniper rifle, but I wanted to make sure that these could be used well with an overkill sniper loadout. And then finally, of course, they need to have at least solid handling and mobility stats, since we will be using them in close range engagements and you want to be able to hold your own there. So with that out of the way, let's get into my top picks and why, and then afterwards I will be sharing my favorite setups with these. And the number 1 on this list is the GPR-91. This is currently the fastest killing assault rifle up close in Warzone, against 3 plates at least, at 588 milliseconds. I do want to point out I actually made a slight error in the previous video where I covered this when it comes to the number of upper torso and arm shots required to maintain an 8-shot kill. I just caught a slight error in my formula on my spreadsheet. It is a brand new spreadsheet that I'm working with this time around, and it's a lot more detailed than I normally do, so still working out some of the kinks with that. Previously, I said you only needed 2 of these upper torso and arm shots, but it turns out you actually need 6, so it is a lot less forgiving than I mentioned. However, it is still very reasonable to be getting 8-shot kills on a consistent basis, as long as you're not aiming at the legs, and maybe you hit the odd headshot in there as well, just to ensure you're maintaining that 8-shot kill. So it's still a really solid close range option when it comes to raw power. Also, the recoil is very solid. It's more than accurate enough to handle itself as a sniper support without needing any recoil attachments on this as well. This recoil is perfectly fine out to about 50 meters or so. It also has really good handling and mobility for an assault rifle. They kind of treat it like an assault rifle SMG hybrid in these areas, like aim down sight time, sprint out time, and your slide to fire and dive to fire times. And to top this off, it's got a decent iron sight, so I don't feel the need to run an optic on this, and that's especially helpful when you're not using gunfighter and you're using overkill instead. Now I will say the range on the GPR by default isn't amazing, but it's adequate at least for sniper support. It's not going to be your best long range option, but for close to mid ranges, it is your best option in many cases. Now, in saying that, a lot of people were saying, what about the Model L? This is the second fastest killing assault rifle up close at 600 milliseconds. But I gotta tell you, I'm not a big fan of the Model L for sniper support, largely due to its slower rate of fire at 600 rounds per minute. With that, I just feel like it's not forgiving enough if you're missing the odd shot here or there, because it takes so long for the next shot to be coming out, and especially in close quarters engagements with a lot of movement, it's more likely you're going to be missing shots, and therefore I don't personally like it, and I'm going to be eliminating it from this list. It doesn't mean it's horrible or unusable, it just didn't make my top 3 for sniper support. So this brings us to the 3rd fastest killing assault rifle up close, which is the AS VAL, and this is a very solid sniper support option as well. It does kill a bit slower than the GPR at 603 milliseconds. However, at a distance, it kills slightly faster than the GPR-91. We've also got a very fast fire rate, so unlike the Model L, it's super forgiving. If you miss the odd bullet or 2, it's really not going to be the end of the world for you with the AS VAL relative to a slower firing assault rifle. It also has a very solid range profile. It's better than the GPR-91 when it comes to ranges, and an incredible iron sight, one of my favorite iron sights in the game, so I have no need to use an optic on this for sniper support. However, there is one key downside with the AS VAL, and that is its recoil. As we can see here, it does have a lot more horizontal recoil, there's bigger gaps between your shots, and it does climb a lot faster than the GPR-91, for instance, which will limit you in those gunfights at like 40 to 50 meters or so. And so that's something you really have to be aware of here. It might not be as versatile as many of you would want out of a sniper support gun. It is a really solid choice, but I actually consider the GPR to be a bit more versatile overall, since I'll be missing fewer shots as I'm starting to stretch those ranges out a little bit. So the AS VAL, still a very solid sniper support option. I don't want to rule that out completely. I still consider it to be a top 3 option for sniper support. But finally, we have one last one I wanted to add to the list here, and it's actually the Kilo 141. Now with this, we do kill noticeably slower than the GPR-91 and even the AS VAL at 640 milliseconds. However, it's worth noting, this is really consistent with the Kilo 141 since we deal the same damage anywhere in the body. Meaning it's never going to take us that extra shot to kill, unlike with the AS VAL and GPR, where if we hit too many leg shots or lower torso shots, it will take us an extra shot to kill. So that consistency, I think, makes up for the fact that it doesn't have quite as much potential up close. Also with the Kilo, we do have solid handling. I like the iron sights as well. They're not my favorite iron sight in the game, but I'd say it's a decent enough iron sight that you can hold your own just fine within those sniper support sort of ranges. And then finally, of course, with the Kilo 141, we have an incredibly accurate gun by default. This definitely excels in this area, and that's another reason that I really like this. In those mid-ranges especially, where I'm kind of in that gray zone between maybe pulling out the sniper rifle, maybe using my sniper support, I feel a lot more confident with the Kilo 141 relative to something like the AS VAL or even the GPR-91. So those are my top 3 sniper support choices. Now let's get into my favorite attachments to use on these for sniper support to really take advantage of their pros and cons and balance things out nicely, specifically for sniper support. Keep in mind with some of these, like the Kilo for instance, I have totally different loadouts if I'm going for a more versatile long-range build. But let's circle back and start off with the GPR-91. With this one, I've got the monolithic suppressor, partially to stay off the radar, which can be very helpful, but also, of course, for a range and velocity boost. I also use the reinforced barrel on this one, which normally I don't recommend for most Warzone builds. Normally I'd recommend gain twist barrel because velocity is extremely important, but in the case of sniper support, I really want to help out a little bit with our actual range profile here. And with that, combined with the monolithic suppressor, we now have a maximum damage range at 43.6 meters. Which for sniper support, that's going to be taking care of most of your gunfights. We're going to maintain that amazing time to kill potential out to that range. And I think that's important, especially since I'm also balancing out the velocity appropriately here. With this velocity value that we get, which is 1123 meters per second, we're getting a hit scan range at about 56 meters. And most of your sniper support gunfights should fall within that range. So I just found that I've hit a nice balance between range and velocity with this particular setup. Now on top of that, we've got extended mag 2 on that for a 60 round magazine. The ergonomic grip, primarily because we are hurting our aim down sight speed quite a bit by using the monolithic suppressor, but I find that it's worth it on this. And that does give us an aim down sight speed at 275 milliseconds, which is more than enough for a sniper support option. It also improves our slide to fire and dive to fire times for those really close quarters engagements where you want to break some ankles. And then finally, we're topping this off with the infiltrator stock, which gives us a really solid aim walking speed at 4 meters per second. And this allows you to strafe effectively in gunfights, which you generally want to be doing for those close to mid-range engagements, because it'll help you evade shots to a degree while also using some left stick aiming to make fine adjustments to your shots. And that right there is my preferred sniper support loadout for the GPR. You'll notice I have no recoil improving attachments, but like I said earlier, this gun doesn't really need it if you're using it within sniper support ranges. As for the next one, let's get into my AS VAL sniper support. And with this, we do have some similar attachments. We've got the reinforced barrel on here for the same reasons as with the GPR. Normally I'd go gain twist, but not for sniper support. That gives us a maximum damage range at 49.5 meters, so that's excellent. Most of your gunfights should definitely fall within that for sniper support. We've also balanced our bullet velocity out nicely here, so our hit scan range is 53 meters, just a little bit longer than that maximum damage range. So it'll be hit scan in all of those engagements as well. We're using the Ranger foregrip here, partially to help a bit with that horizontal recoil. But another big reason we're using this is it helps with our sprint and tactical sprint speeds, which can be very helpful for getting around the map quickly, as well as engaging in close quarters situations. We're using extended mag 2 on this for a 50 round magazine. Once again, the ergonomic grip, which gives us a very fast aim down sight speed at 210 milliseconds. And then finally, we're once again using the infiltrator stock on this because we get a solid aim walking speed at 3.9 meters per second. Just a little bit slower than the GPR, but still very solid. Now with this setup, you're still going to be limited by your recoil. That's something to factor in while using this. I'm not going to feel quite as comfortable pushing the limits of my ranges as I would with the previous build, or the Kilo build that's coming up for that matter. But if I'm really trying to keep myself primarily in close mid ranges, this is where the AS VAL really shines, and this is a great sniper support setup for that. And then finally, this leaves us with our Kilo sniper support build. And with this, we're using the regular suppressor, not the monolithic, combined with the reinforced barrel again. And the reason behind this is I just felt we didn't need the monolithic suppressor benefits on this particular gun. Our maximum damage range is 44.4 meters, and our hit scan range is 53 meters. I don't really feel the need to boost that even more while sacrificing with our aim down sight speed and our sprint out speed. that's why I went with the standard suppressor. We're once again using extended mag 2 on this for the 60 round mag, the ergonomic grip for aim down sight speed, slide to fire speed, and dive to fire speed. And then finally, the infiltrator stock for that aim walking speed at 4 meters per second. I know there's not a whole lot of attachment variety between these, a lot of very similar attachments, but they're similar for a reason. They're the most effective that you'll tend to find for a sniper support option, in my opinion at least, while spending a lot of time optimizing these stats. And there we go. That's pretty much it. That is going to wrap it up for today's video on my current top 3 sniper support options. All 3 of these are definitely really solid choices, and you really can't go wrong with any of them. I would just say use the one that best suits you. Like with the AS VAL, if you feel like that recoil is not a problem, awesome, go for it. If you find that recoil is a problem, then the Kilo is probably best for you. Or if you want a nice balance between the two, this is where the GPR comes in, just because we tend to get a really nice balance of power, accuracy, and handling. Now, of course, these are just my thoughts and opinions, and this is where I want to hear from you guys in those comments down below. What is your favorite sniper support option to use in Warzone right now? Is it one of these 3 guns or something totally different? Just let me know down below. If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.